Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into Treasure Map versus Bonnie, the Super Evolved Goggles Luffy, with my Speedy boosted team to help you take down this particular event over in the New World. So, I already did a video on the no new batch, no new characters. Go check that video out. Link in the description for you guys if you guys are struggling, or if you guys don't have any of these characters. We'll talk about some replacements and stuff like that. But in today's video, we're using the whole kit and caboodle. We're using all of the Elders, all of the high point boosters. We have the Boar, we have the Bird, we have Tosser, Guillotine, Kizaru, Luffy, the two Elders, all being at 1.4 times boosting, and then we have the 1.35 boosters right there as well. So hopefully this video helps you guys out with just a little bit faster when it comes to the mini bosses, and then hopefully my explanation of the final bosses will help you out too. Also, I will have out a different variation video for the final boss and the intrusion fight if you guys are missing certain characters and stuff like that compared to the full batch, and then say you have like one of the rare recruits, legendary rare recruit, all that fun stuff. To hopefully give you guys ideas to break down this particular event, because that's the idea of these preparation videos. But starting off, we have the Pacifista MK3. The recommended character is Hound. Everyone gets the good stuff. Weak to fighters, damage reduction, and barrier is the big thing we have to deal with here. Basically, just like my no new batch video, we're just using Carrot. I do have Hound on this team, but we're not using him to just like bypass anything besides the fact that he is a fighter character. We're going to use Sengoku. We have four side characters here. Shirohoshi gives us Rainbow Orbs, Brooks Wave Clearing, Carrot bypasses all of the nasty stuff, and then we just give the 3.5 times attack and orb boost to Hound. Get the chain boundary with Akainu, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, we're off to the races. On to the next fight, we have Atlas, and the recommended character here is Kizaru. Free Spirit, Slashes, and Fighters get all the good stuff. Weak to Slashes at the final stage. Attack down if you blow a 2.75 chain. Delay immunity, Resilience, and then there is Intimidation if you use any chain shenanigans. So the idea here is we are using Izokiku to wave clear turn 2. We get a 3.5 times chain lock, and we carry that into the final stage. To wave clear turn 1, we're utilizing the super type of Luffy. Luffy's going to give us a full bot of orbs, and that way we don't have to worry about that on the final stage. We're going to give the 3.5 times attack and orb boost to Brook this time, thanks to Sengoku, the evolved version of Sengoku, and because we're weak to Slashes, we're going to do more damage there. And then to bypass the Resilience, I just have the Enel support on Carrot and Nami. Pretty straightforward there. No cheeky shenanigans. If you're missing Carrot and Nami, just bring someone that removes Resilience. Moving on to the Sanji fighter now. Recommended characters are Luffy and Nami and Usopp. Quick, Sai, and Strength character get the good stuff. Weak to Cerebral, Special one on the middle row, Paralysis, Orbs to spare, and then a defense down immunity. So the idea here is we are using Shirohoshi once again to get Rainbow Orbs through to the final stage. Zoro's going to wave clear turn 1 and turn 2, so we keep those Rainbow Orbs, not worrying about Paralysis. And then on the final stage, we're just going to use the Toki Toki ability on our Luffy's for stage 2. Carry that into stage 3. Not even worry about the special one at all on our middle row because we don't need it. And that way we get the 3.5 times attack and orbs on Luffy. Later down the line, we have the super type of Luffy. We have the special Luffy for advantageous types, and for what's it called? The strength territory, and that should work out pretty hunky-dory there. Moving on to the Frankie fight now. The Frankie is a bit of an interesting one, where they want to use Peter and the two rare recruits, but I think I found a faster way. We have Dex, Quick, and in characters getting all the good stuff. Frankie's weak to Driven, Special Reverse, Stun, Attack down, Normal attacks only, Paralysis on your bottom right, and then the enemy puts up a territory. So the idea here is we're using Vista to wave clear. He goes down to, 10 turns with Limit Break Expansion. You get 9 with, cooldowns and sockets, and a 2 to cooldown ship, and then 1 on that interrupts on the first turn. That's pretty much how it works. You can wave clear with turn 1, turn 2. Then we have Ace to remove the Paralysis and Luffy to remove the attack down, plus Luffy gives a territory. So that way you get past all that. And I just threw Kizaru and Peter on here just because they're high point boosters. Obviously later down the line, you can easily replace them with other characters like a Yamato, for example. You could easily run the Orion Yamato, and that way you're getting a damage reduction and conversion buff. And then you've also got an attack boost with Ace's EX. You just have room to move with those two characters on the side there. You can also run Hiyori if you want to get Wano Orbs, and that way you don't have to worry about it too much there. But as you can see, this team should do plenty of damage, literally just with the Ace special and the Luffy special. On to the final stages now. We're basically just using the full batch for these particular teams. For the intrusion, they want to use the Boar, Peter, and Tosser, and then for the final boss, they want you to use the Bird, Ethan, and Guillotine. So they've definitely spread out the Elders and the rare recruits across these two particular fights. But the idea here is you want to bring both of the new Elders with the two rare recruits, and then just the other Elder that's actually boosted for said content. But looking at the final boss fight against Bonnie, Bonnie is Weak. Wait, what is she? She is a Dex character, and then on the start of the turn, which doesn't really matter for us, but Driven Slasher Cerebrals get all the good stuff. Battle 2, there is an attack down if you blow a 2.5 times chain. You get 7 turns of a chain lock at 1.1, normal attacks only, full immunity, defense up, and then a barrier for 3 goods at 1 or 2 turns. So 2 turns of a barrier. On death, he runs away. Weak to Driven on the final stage. You get a full board of block orbs. You get a chain growth reduction at 0.1, 3 turns of an attack down if you're below 2.75 chain, 1 turn of a special limit, and then there's a rainbow orb barrier for 2 rainbow orbs for 1 turn. If you use any chain multiplier boost on this final stage, you get a whole bunch of nasty effects. So the idea here is that on turn 2, they want you to use the Guillotine special. Now, Guillotine can remove barriers by 2 turns. He also gives you a conditional buff as well as a a chain boost as well, that he extends for 2 turns, provided you have 4 Navy or World Government characters. But you also want to remove the chain lock on this particular stage. The thing with Guillotine too is he has this ability here that removes special limit, so that's going to bypass that on the final stage. You want to use the special of the bird first. If you use the special of the bird first, you get his you get his conditional buff, and you can extend that. It's way more valuable than having the Guillotine's conditional buff. But Guillotine's Guillotine's chain boost is very valuable to extend. Now, ideally, you'd want to use Ethan's chain boost, but Ethan's EX won't be procced until you use Guillotine special. Guillotine gives you the overheal buff, which allows you to get the EX of Ethan and the bird, so that works out quite nicely. When you move into the final stage, Ethan also removes the defense up, so that's always nice. And then when you move into the final stage, you have the other bird special to does he remove the chain coefficient, like the chain reduction? I know he does chain, yeah, so you have the other bird to remove the decreased chain growth rate. You have the boar to give you a color affinity buff. And then you have Tosser to do Tosser-like things. What does Tosser even do? Tosser, he just does cooldowns, base attack, increases base attack, and he delays all enemies for 1 turn. Yeah, like he doesn't really do too much, to be honest. Yeah, fair enough, Tosser. Fair enough. But yeah, so that's pretty much the team in a nutshell. Obviously, you don't get the chain boundary of the bird because you don't have one of every type on the team. But at the same time, like, you don't really need it per se. Like, if you want to find a way to try and squeeze on like Peter, for example, and then you get one of every type, and then just sort of like burst through the defense up, like that could definitely be a play. But for this team, like, I feel like this is just going to be absolutely fine. As for attack boosts and stuff like that, you don't really have any attack boosts or anything like that when you move into the final stage. All you've got is chain shenanigans and a conditional buff. So you could easily throw on some supports and stuff like that to sort of give yourself a little bit more when it comes to damage output. So ideally, you probably want to look at maybe, I don't know, rocking a support for an attack and a support for orbs or something like that. But again, like, Tosser's like, eventually, if you're getting to the point where it's like lots of damage, you need more damage, like you could probably replace Tosser, or hell, you could probably even just try and burst through the damage on turn 2 and then just use the attack and orb boost of Ethan on the final stage. See what happens, I guess. Like, look, not going to know until the content comes out, right? As with the intrusion is pretty straightforward, provided you have these 3 characters at the top there. Powerhouse, Striker, and Driven get all the good stuff. You get a 70% HP cut on turn 2. 2 turns special reverse. Right hand column gets blinded. Unfavorable orbs and normal attacks only. And then on defeat, you take 120,000. Luffy's weak to Driven on the final stage. You get left column bind now for, again, like 8 turns after sockets. There's burn, normal attacks only, full immunity, a territory for 3 turns, and then 10 turns of damage threshold. If you yourself use any damage reduction or threshold on the final stage, you get a whole bunch of nasty stuff, including damage null. Then on defeat, you take 150,000 damage. So the idea here, pretty straightforward, is on turn 2, you use 1 ball, and then on turn 3, use the other ball. To tank the, the first shot, you can use the special of Tosser. He gives you a threshold debuff, threshold buff that allows you to tank any damage over 5,000. He also gives you the cooldowns for Int, Powerhouse, and Driven. Works pretty nicely there. So he's just going to bypass that. And then on the final stage, you just have everything else. Like, you use Tosser and the ball on turn 2 to bypass everything. And then on the final stage, you use Guillotine to give you the overheal buff. So that way you get the Oh, actually, you don't need it because Peter, you don't have no paralysis. Peter is just going to remove the threshold. He gives you territory for driven characters. I believe he gives you driven characters. You might need to do... Yeah, you need a dex support on him. So you just throw on a dex support on Peter, and then you'll be absolutely fine. And then Mars will give... Do you have one of every type on this team? I don't know if you do. Let me just quickly throw on a dex support here. Yeah, you do. You have one of every type. So you get the chain boundary with Mars, you get the conditional buff with Mars, and you get like all of the good stuff there. So again, you don't have an attack boost here, but like you could throw on Shiki support and just get an attack boost that way. You remove the burn and you get damage reduction with the Boar or Topman's EX2, so should work out pretty nicely. And remember, like Topman and the Bird, they have 2 times HP, so like you're gonna have a lot of HP on this particular team too. The 70% HP cut will hit you pretty hard, but at the same time, you guys will be like absolutely fine when it comes to that. So it's gonna wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, put a like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Pretty straightforward for these final 2 fights if you have all the characters at your disposal, but hopefully these mini boss fights help you guys out to get them done nice and fast. And if you guys are looking for replacements for the final fight boss teams, make sure to hit the bell notification because we will have some more content coming out with some different alternatives for the boosted teams. But like I said, bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Let's